we are happily joined by the manager of the New York Yankees, Joe Girardi. Joe, how are you?
I'm good, Michael. Kenny, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Joe. Thanks for coming on.
How's that out-of-town scoreboard today?
Very sparse. Very sparse. Congratulations, Joe. We have you for another 4 years. Right?
Yes. I'm excited. My family's excited. And I'm really excited about what we did with the team over the winter. And I think our offense is dramatically improved. And adding Tanaka is exciting. And I like what we got here in camp.
All right, so the new guys that we've been talking about, do they seem as if they fit in? And Tanaka obviously has the biggest transition. Just being around that clubhouse, that room, do they seem comfortable yet?
Oh, they do. They're very comfortable. When I watch our guys go about their work, I think they're very comfortable. I don't think it's been a huge transition fitting into our clubhouse. Our clubhouse is pretty easy to fit into, and these guys are all pretty easygoing.
I want to talk about the catcher, new catcher, Brian McCann. Now, I know he's not in the lineup today, but we're talking about leadership qualities he's bringing over from Atlanta. And I heard the name Thurman Munson mentioned as far as leadership. What do you think, Joe?
That's a pretty good name to be mentioned with.
Yeah.
And when I look at him, he basically took a pretty young staff, an extremely young bullpen, and led those guys to back-to-back playoff, berths. And he had different types of pitchers, too. He had some power pitchers and he had some finesse pitchers, and I think he did a really good job. But, what I see about Brian McCann is he has that intensity, like a switch-hitting catcher that we used to have, and it's going to come out during the game. And we loved it. And I thought that, Jorge, was a reflection of what we expected from our whole team, and I think Brian will do that as well.
Harrison swings and misses.
How long, Joe, does it take for a catcher to learn a pitching staff?
Well, you can get a pretty good idea in spring training, but I still think that you have to go through some in-season games to where the intensity is greater. Obviously, the results are more important, and we don't want to see that, a pitcher using his bare hand.
How many times do you tell pitchers that and they just don't listen, Joe?
Well, it's just instinct. You're doing anything you can to get it out. That's your job. So as much as you think that they're going to listen to you, it's not going to happen.
We'll take another look. Joe can't see it downstairs. We can, and you can on your TV.
Does it look like
it?
Got him. It got him, yeah.
Well, you're always curious how these next two pitchers are, to see if his location is okay. And, and I had a talk with, all of our pitchers at the beginning of spring training. I've talked to them today that, listen, I don't want you to try to do too much too early on because we don't want you to get hurt and have setbacks because then you're no good to us, and it's going to be a lot harder for you to make the team. So I'm not going to judge your early outings. I just want you to get comfortable.
Clint Barmas takes high. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, Joe, is that there's an experimental rule that is going to be in effect this year that there will be no home plate collisions. You're a catcher that was tough and you did block the plate. Is this a good rule, Joe?
I think it is, Michael, but it's really no unnecessary collisions. If the catcher blocks the plate, you can run him over, but if he's giving you a lane to slide, they expect you to slide. And it's the unnecessary ones that you worry about sometimes when the guy's not looking and he's looking to right field and you have a lane to slide to and you can't protect yourself. That's what we're trying to get away from.
Popped up by Barmas. Gardner battling the sun. Puts it away.
Yeah, the sun just came out. It's kind of nice now.
And now, Joe, we've seen home plate collisions where the ball, the runner, and home plate all come together at the same time. How are you going to avoid all of that?
Well, you're allowed to block home plate, and there are going to be times there's still going to be collisions. But like I said, it's the ones that there don't have to be collisions, and we want to encourage base runners to slide if you have an opportunity to slide. But if the catcher's blocking home plate, you have the freedom to do what you need to do.
Joe, we were talking about Saturday where you're sending Kuroda, Tanaka, and Sabathia out.
Yes, it's Game 7.
Right, and I was also wondering, how much did Flip pay you, because the game's on yes, to send those three guys out to the mound?
Well, that was one of the things we talked about before I signed on.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, the guy to your right, Larry Rothschild, is the guy that figures that stuff out, right?
Yeah, so maybe he called Larry, not me.
Now, you're going to be handle Tanaka with kid gloves because, at least early in Japan, the pitchers pitch once a week.
We're going to pay close attention to that, Michael. You'll see some times when he'll go on his normal 5-day rest, and then there'll be some times in spring training that we might give him an extra day. But because he's starting earlier, he's basically starting on CC's day, there's some freedom to build that in.
That one's popped up. Kelly Johnson is there.
Michael, before this interview ends, and I hope it ends after this next hitter, not because I don't want to be on, I want to see the inning end. Just give a little shout to my 2 girls at home. They both are under the weather, a little strep throat. So Serena and Lena, I hope you feel better.
Good.
Dante's okay, though.
So far.
Yeah.
2 down, 1 on. We are running out of time. Joe, with all the additions the Yankees made, they're obviously an improved team, but the infield has a lot of question marks, and you admit that as well. Let's go over them very quickly. What are your plans at third? Is it Johnson?
Yeah, Kelly Johnson, we expect to be our third baseman. It could be a platoon situation a little bit with a right-handed hitter. Jeet to be the shortstop, Brian Roberts to be the second baseman, and Tex to be the first baseman. So, at any point in our lineup, we could have 3 switch hitters with a bunch of left-handed hitters in there as well. But that's kind of our expectation. There's a lot of guys fighting for that extra spot. Brendan Ryan obviously is going to be with us as our backup shortstop. And then we have a number of guys fighting for that extra spot.
Runner goes. Throw to second is in time. Well, Joe, you can thank Cervelli for getting you off the hook.
Yeah, he did. But I look forward to Saturday, guys.